Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a sports story that is absolutely mind-blowing. It goes way beyond just kicking a ball around a pitch. We're going to break down exactly how the Egyptian national football team evolved from being regional pioneers into a permanent record-breaking football institution. So, if you're a fan of sports history packed with unbelievable achievements, you are definitely in the right place. Now, the big question we need to ask is this. Rather than just looking at dry statistics, how on earth did this squad establish such a legendary sporting empire? We aren't just talking about one lucky golden generation that came and went. No, we're talking about a literal winning DNA that spans across multiple generations. Let's get right into it with Section 1, the foundation and the roots of the empire. To really understand this, we have to trace their origins all the way back to the late 19th century. But just look at this rapid ascent. They formed their football association in 1921, joined FIFA just 2 years later, and by 1934, they achieved something massive. They became the very first Arab and African team to play at the World Cup. They were true pioneers, bringing organized regional football to the global stage for the very first time. You don't just get a meteoric rise like that by accident. So how did they pull it off? Well, they built a meticulously structured foundation super early on. Under their first president, Jafar Wali Pasha, they organized the top-tier clubs, like Ali and Zamalek, into a first division way back in 1922. They even created highly competitive early tournaments. They weren't just building a team, they were literally building an entire footballing system from scratch. And this point right here brilliantly illustrates their regional leadership. They didn't just play football on the continent, they literally helped build its governing body. In 1957, they were a founding pillar of the Confederation of African Football, or CAF. They were the ones setting the rules that the whole continent would eventually play by. Moving on to Section 2, the African Empire and absolute dominance. 7. It's a simple number, but man, does it carry some serious weight. 7 Africa Cup of Nations titles. This is a towering, seemingly unbreakable record that firmly cements their status as the absolute kings of African football history. And if you think those 7 titles were just a fluke, check out this number, 22. With a record 22 appearances at the tournament, this proves their dominance isn't just one lucky streak. It's a sustained, institutional monopoly. Showing up consistently is the hardest thing to do in sports, and Egypt basically made it a habit. Now, what's really fascinating is this specific, unprecedented achievement, winning 3 consecutive AFCON titles in 2006, 2008, and 2010. It is a legendary three-peat that no other African team has ever managed to pull off. That era alone was an absolute nightmare for any team that had to face them. During that golden run, they essentially forgot how to lose. I mean, they put together a jaw-dropping 19-match unbeaten streak in the tournament, starting in 2004, which included 9 consecutive victories. Those are the kind of numbers that make you wonder if they were just playing a completely different game than everyone else. So, with the continent thoroughly conquered, we have to wonder, did the Pharaohs' ambition stop at the borders of Africa? Was that their ceiling? Let's find out in Section 3, Global Clashes and the Pharaohs on the world stage. Their daring expansion onto the global stage really kicked into gear with their World Cup return in 1990. But it was in the 2009 Confederations Cup where they truly shocked the globe. Get this, their offensive firepower achieved the spectacular feat of putting 3 goals past the mighty Brazil in a single match. They put on a show that literally stunned the world. And in that exact same tournament, they pulled off the unthinkable. Thanks to a legendary header by Mohamed Humos, they secured the first ever African victory against Italy. And remember, Italy were the reigning world champions at the time. They completely toppled the world champs and proved they could go toe-to-toe with the biggest heavyweights. Because of these breathtaking global performances, the Egyptian national team was propelled to an astounding 10th place in the FIFA World Ranking by 2010. Being ranked in the top 10 globally is undeniable proof that their empire wasn't just a local phenomenon. It shows that a winning mentality really does transcend borders. Let's shift gears to Section 4, building the DNA through youth and regional success. To really grasp how this empire sustains itself, we need to briefly look at the grassroots level. From youth squads winning African championships to grabbing gold at the Arab and Mediterranean Games, the Egyptian system consistently breeds winners. This ensures that their institutional DNA is passed down to every new generation. By the time these players hit the senior squad, they're already incredibly used to standing on a podium.
But, of course, it wasn't all perfect. Here is Section 5, the trials, covering their crises and falls. As we know, every historical empire faces its sudden trials, and the brutal volatility of football hit the Egyptian squad hard. Despite being at the absolute peak of their powers in 2010, they suffered a heartbreaking blow, missing out on the World Cup after a highly dramatic high-stakes playoff loss against Algeria and Sudan. It was a massive reality check.
Just think about this contrast. It perfectly illustrates the unpredictable nature of the sport. They went from being three-time defending continental champions and ranked top 10 in the world in 2010 to inexplicably failing to even qualify for the very next AFCON tournament in 2012. It was a shocking, rapid fall that really highlights how wildly unpredictable football can be. Finally, we arrive at Section 6, the enduring legacy. When we look past those immediate crises to the broader historical picture, we see a truly resilient intergenerational saga. It's a story that seamlessly connects the early pioneering days of players like Hussein Hegazi directly to the modern heroes who secured that historic treble. It's a continuous passing of the torch. Ultimately, analyzing all this makes one thing abundantly clear. The Egyptian national team is not just a sports team. It is an ancient football institution that established the game in the region, setting records that still stand today. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you to ponder this monumental legacy. Do you think the footballing world will ever see another African team build an empire quite like this, capable of replicating these staggering numbers? Or is the Pharaohs' legacy an absolute one-off? Let me know what you think, and thanks for joining me today.